Hello everyone, welcome to Introduction to SPSS Section 1. So in this session, we'll do a briefly overview of the layout of SPSS and introduce some of the data cleaning methods. So I just opened a data in SPSS. And this data was also downloaded through Qualtrics. So this is also the result of a Qualtrics study. So as you can see here, we have two views. The first one is data view and the second one is variable view. In data view, we can see each individual participant. Each row represents one participant. And we can have, and each column represents one variable. And in this variable view, we can see the detailed descriptions of each variable. So for example, we have this variable named city. And under the label, you can see that city means a question like, name the city in which you're currently living. And it does not have any value because you're required to actually type in the city. For other kind of questions that has options, so for example, do you live in an American Indian or an Alaska Native reservation community? We have 3 means yes, 4 means no, and 5 prefer not to answer. And another thing to introduce about SPSS is the toolbar. So here is the toolbar of the SPSS. And when we click on analysis, we can do descriptive statistics, we can do inferential, and all of these are inferential statistics like correlation analysis, regression. This is factor analysis. And usually for this class, we're gonna do descriptive statistics like frequencies and descriptives that will be introduced in our next video. And we will also do compare means. We have independent samples t-test, we have one-way ANOVA, and we may also use correlations. So that's bivariate correlation. And after we do a analysis, for example, let's do a descriptive statistics for whatever variable we have, and click OK. We're gonna have a separate output window. Now, we're going to talk about how to clean our data. So the first question to ask is, why do we need to clean our data? And here are many reasons to do that. Now, the first reason is that sometimes the data you downloaded from Qualtrics is just a mess. It happens a lot. So you really need to tidy up the data. And in other cases, your data file do not export in a usable form. So you need to recode the data or sometimes reverse the scoring of the data to make it usable for your data analysis. And the third reason for us to clean the data is that in many cases, we use items to create a composite score. So for example, if you have a depression scale that includes 10 items, and to create a total score for the depression, to assess the depression, probably you will need to take the average of that of the responses of all 10 items, or you may want to get a summarized score to sum up all responses to get a final score. And the fourth reason is that we need to identify usable sample. So, no, sometimes your participants may be not in a good mood. Probably they just use like 2 minutes to finish a survey that you think that will take them 30 minutes. So this usually happens when you can see a lot of missing data or a lot of like only choose the first option. So you may don't want that participant to be included in your final data. So the second question is, what will be clean? First, missing data. Second, reverse scoring. Third, you want to create an average or sum score. And fourth, you need to create other needed variables. So the first kind of data we want to clean is the missing data. Now, sometimes we do keep the missing data, but sometimes we want to remove them. So the first thing to do when you get a data set is to remove participants that do not have any data from your data set. And missing data are always marked with dot, as you can see here in SPSS. So for example, we don't want to remove the participants who do not answer this essential worker question because, they may be unemployed. If they're unemployed, based on the survey logic, they will not need to answer this essential worker question. We don't want to lose people who are unemployed for our data, so we won't clean the data. So we won't clean this essential worker variable. However, if you do want to delete the participant, you just select the participant, right-click, and cut. And one thing that is unique for Qualtrics is that many of you will preview your survey. And when you preview your survey, you may even complete your survey just by yourself. However, this preview survey will be captured as data, but it's not valid. The responses were definitely not valid. So you do want to remove all preview data. That means to look at this status row, there is a variable. If it equals 1, that means it's a previewed data and you need to delete it. And for this data, we never previewed, so we don't have any data point that equals 1. So we don't need to delete any of the data.